Hello everyone, this is Ishant here. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about the data frames, how we can access elements and select elements in a data frame, and so on. So without wasting time, let's start. So here I am in my IDE. So first of all, our primary work is to import the library that we use for data analysis. In our case, we use pandas. So import pandas as pd. First of all, to make selection or accessing in a data frame, we are required to create it. So let's try to create it first. First of all, we are importing pandas as pd. Then after that, let us say I am going to create an object, say obj1, and say this is my object that I have created here. Okay, now let's try to create another data frame object. Say df1 is the name of the data frame object. Now I will be creating a data frame. So for that I will be using the data frame. Then I will pass the object here, say obj1, and now I will print it. So let's try to fetch the output. So here you can see, please wait a minute. Okay, here you can see we have by default generated index here. Say here this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the index. These are the column index where this 0, 1, 2 up to 5 represents the row index. So by default we have not assigned any argument here. It is created the by default generated index values here. So in this way we can create a data frame using the nested list concept. Now suppose that I want to replace this by default generated indexes by user defined or labeled index. So how can we? For an instance, suppose that these values are assigned with different labels. Say for an instance, suppose that this row represents the enrollment number. This row represents the enrollment number of the student. Then for this I will be writing here, give a comma, just write it down here, columns columns equals to, and now suppose that you have, how many columns are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 columns are there. So create a list here that will hold the 6 labels. Say for instance this is the enrollment number, so I will be writing here ENROLLNO, but please make it sure to write it within single quotes. Give a comma here. Now this is the second column represents name here, so here I will be writing here name. Then the third represents the class here. Okay, so I will be writing here CLASS class. Then the fourth one represents the section, so I will be writing here SECTION section. Just a minute, section. Okay, and then after that the percentage is there. After section that percentage is there, na? So I will be writing here percentage, PERCENTAGE, percentage. And then after we have IPCS streams here, so I will be writing here stream, IP and CS, so stream. So what is the stream here? So IP and CS, or you can also write it as a subject as per your requirement. Okay, now what will happen if I run this program? So let's run this script, and here you will come to know that after assigning the columns here, the changes have been made in the output. Here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are now replaced by the user defined what labels here, that is the user defined labels or custom labels, you can also say that. For an instance, the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here, that are the row indexes by default generated, we can also assign user defined uh, labeled here. For this, what I have to do here, give a comma here, press enter. On this next line, go here and write down what index equals to. Now let's try to identify how many elements are there or how many rows are there. Say so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Number of elements are 6 there. So here you will create a list here. Say I am talking about S1 comma say S2, okay, then say S3, then say S4, then say S5, then say S6. Okay, now let's try to rerun the program and let's try to fetch the output what it comes. So now, apart from renaming the columns or assigning the columns as new labels, we have also assigned new labels to the rows also, as you can see here. So now we have completely created a data frame along with a proper or appropriate column names along with the row names, so that we can perform the selection or accessing feature or accessing in the data frame. So let's try to understand the concept of accessing or selection in a data frame. So before moving further, let me clear the output that we have generated just now. Now suppose that I want to access all the streams of the data frame. So for that I will be writing here, please give me a minute, let me zoom it. Okay, so here is the data frame object that you have created, and here we are printing the data frame. So just write down here the name of the data frame is df1. So give here a dot and write down the name of the say column that you want to print it out. In our case it is strem stream. So write down here without single quotes, write down here stream. Okay, so let's try to fetch it out, run the program, and here you will come to know that you have successfully fetched a row from the data frame. Say the name of the data the name of this column is stream, and the data type is object, because all the data that are present in that particular column were object. So in this way we can access the column, a single column, using dot column name. The basic syntax for this is name of the data frame dot name of the column that you want to access. Suppose that I want to access enrollment number, so I will be writing here ENROLLNO. Now let me run it. So here you can see that the changes have been made in the output, and we have successfully fetched or we have successfully accessed the column enroll number. Suppose that if I want to access percentage here, so I will be writing here percentage. Now what will happen if I run this program? Here the data type will be changed. Why? Because all the values inside that particular column known as a percentage are having the data type float. Therefore, we have got the D type float 64 here. So in this way, we can access a particular column using dot method. So the basic syntax, again I am repeating: name of the data frame dot column name. Please make a note here that this concept is applicable to fetch, to access only a single column. Now let's move to the second method. We can also access single and multiple columns inside a data frame or from a data frame by using the different method, by using different techniques. So let's try to understand that one. First of all, let me clear it. Okay, now as we already know that we have created a data frame here. In order to access a single column, please give me a minute, let me zoom it. In order to access a single column, say I want to access name in a data frame, so I will be writing here name of the data frame, then single square brackets, inside single quotes I will be writing here name. And now let's run the program, and here you will come to know that I have successfully fetched all the names of the data frame, or all the contents of the data frame that belongs to the name column. Suppose that I want to access, say, enrolled number, so I will be writing here ENROLLNO, and now let us try to print. Okay, so in this way we can access single columns here. Now how we can access more than one columns? So it is not necessary to write the column name in sequence. You can write as per your requirement. Suppose that if I write here section, say I am writing here SECTION section, then before that, suppose that if I am writing here name. Okay, so please make a note here. If you are accessing a single column, a single square bracket is required there. But if you are accessing more than one column, say 2 columns, 3 columns, etc., so in that case you are required to use double square brackets. I hope this point is clear to you. So after that, let's try to run the program, and here you will come to know that you have successfully fetched all the details that were asked. So in this way we can fetch single columns and multiple columns of a data frame, or we can access, you can also say that. Let us move further. Please give me a minute, let me clear it. Now let us consider a case. Suppose that you want to access all details of Krishna. For that we have to use a different method. You can say it as a .loc method. So how we can do it? Let's try to understand. For an instance, I am talking about Krishna, so let's try to identify the number of the which row Krishna belongs to. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. It means Krishna belongs to 4th row. And what is the index label of 4th row? 1, S2, S3 and S4. S4 is the 4th row that represents the Krishna. So I will be writing here after the data frame object that we have created here. After the data frame object that we have created here, we are required to write dot here, and then name of the function is .loc. After that give a square brackets here. Now inside a single quotes write down the row label. In our case it is S4, so I will be writing here S4, give a comma and then give a colon here. Just right click and just run the code and you will come to know that you have successfully accessed all the details for Krishna. Now suppose that you want to access more than one rows. So how you can do that? In order to access more than one rows, what you are required to do, you have to use the double square brackets here. Okay, suppose that you want to access S4 and S1, so you will be writing here S4 comma inside the single brackets S1 and then just close the bracket and just close the second bracket here. Sorry, second bracket already we have closed here. Let us move further. Suppose that you are required to print the last 4 consecutive columns from the data frame for the students S4 and S1. Then how you can do this? Just after this first bracket, when you will close the first bracket here, just write down after the comma, give a single quotes here and write down the name of the column from where you want to slice the rest of all. Suppose that I want to print all the details from class 2 section stream. So in this case I will be writing here class and just re-executing the code. So here you will come to know that I have successfully fetched or successfully accessed class, section, percentage and stream, that is the consecutive continuous columns for S4 and S1 student. So in this way we can access consecutive columns for a data frame. Let us move further. Suppose that, just give me a minute. Suppose that you want to access say class and percentage or class and stream. Suppose you want to know the class and stream of Sumit and Robert. So how you can find it? Let's try to write the code. So Sumit belongs to second row and second row have a row label of S2, so I will be writing here S2. Then Robert belongs to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth column, sorry, fifth row, so I will be writing here 5. Then suppose that you are about to access the column class and then stream, so you will have to write here class and then give a comma, write down here inside single quotes STREAM stream. Clear? So give a proper closing bracket here and now let's try to fetch the result. And here you will come to know that we have successfully fetched the required query or required thing that we were searching for. Here we have successfully fetched the class and stream for student S2 and S5. Suppose that you want to also know the name of the students, so you can write here inside the single quotes any name and then your comma. Let's re-execute this one. Okay, so the name of the student is Sumit and Robert. who belongs to class 11, 10, 12 with streams CS and IP respectively. So in this way we can find out, or we can filter, or we can access particular rows and columns.